Malfoy, do
It
you know
was me.
what?
Yeah.
Wella's giving you a career on a plate here. You really need to take advantage of this.
That's unfair on me. Come on.
Alright, so first things first, you boys. I've actually got a bone to pick with you and the Wafflin Mafia.
Okay.
Right.
Because basically, whenever I post on the Wafflin podcast Instagram, I always just constantly get accused by you and the viewers of being either drunk or high. So I just want to ask, like, why is this? Like, what am I actually doing wrong by just trying to have a chat?
I think it's
You
the
know
way
what?
you're looking at the camera.
Yeah, innit? I was about to say the same. It's the angle that you're taking these videos at. You're always like slumped in your sofa like that with the camera.
And what's on the other side of the camera?
No, what? Well, I'm not naked. I just ask. No, I just like asking. I just like asking interesting questions.
I don't think it helps when you're asking these whilst clearly like under the influence of hay fever and your eyes are all like puffy and like, you know what I mean? Like maybe let the hay fever die down.
Yeah.
Look your normal self, and then maybe ask these questions in a
Yeah, and
less
also stop
intense
trying to
way.
like make it seem as if me and Theo are asking the questions and you're asking them on behalf of us.
And like Luke wants to know.
It's like some dodgy
But what do you
question where
think-
like Theo's like, send us pictures of your naked ass and whatnot.
No, I just think it's quite interesting to like ask the viewers like different sexual questions. No, it's a bit fucked, isn't it? It's a little bit fucked. Do you think it's okay that I do it, boys? Like on a level now, because I think it's funny because Wafflin, okay, it's a bit of a sex orientated podcast, a little bit, and asking those sorts of questions to the viewers is like good. Do you agree?
It's an open space where we can be a little bit dodgy. And everyone's allowed to be a little bit weird. I think you can get away with it, but only there. Like, if you were to post them on, like, at Joe Weller, people would probably be like, "Who the fuck?"
Who the fuck is this guy?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, am I ruining any like potential growth of Wafflin?
If any,
Because we are really wanting to push out and expand here. Am I holding the pack back by the sort of comments I make to our vulnerable audience?
If anything, I would argue that actually it's growing the Instagram because it gives a platform for everyone to show their weird side.
Yeah. Do you know what how I see the Wafflin Instagram as like my private account? So it's like,
What a way to treat it.
no. So I'm just like, fuck it. Like, let's just ask random questions. But the interaction that we get, like everyone that follows us on there is actually class. Like they get the banter. No one has gone, "Oh, Weller, you're a little creep. Stop asking this."
No one's done that.
Okay, they all do that. But aside from that,
Every single
I-
one is like, what is going on here? But we then get the ones out there that also quite enjoy it and sort of get involved and do their own stories. Seen those?
well, yeah. No. What?
What? No, I haven't seen
What do
any
you
of those.
mean?
I'm making it up, mate. No,
Well, do you
no.
not think? Do you not think that by you doing all of this, people aren't going
Yeah.
ahead and doing it to their friends, like asking these dodgy
So
questions?
I'm like setting a trend
Yeah.
of being a bit creepy.
yeah, being openly creepy.
Well, this is the thing. Like, at the end of the day, right, I have always had success on this platform through when I'm truly being myself. As in, what I mean by that is not being scared of other people thinking I'm a weirdo. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So, and I think that's where I started getting a little limited with not feeling like very confident because I felt like I had to be a certain way, whereas Wafflin has sort of really allowed me to just be myself and yeah, and it's fun, and I really
really see who you are.
yeah.
A massive creep.
It's well alright, mate. It's really good for me. But yeah, so that was good. What have you boys been up to? Anything crazy? Bonkers?
Nothing worth talking about. I've finished my second year of uni, but I mean that is just going to bore people to death, really. So
Wait, you've finished it?
You finished? What? So that means you're Waffling full time now?
for the next
Well, you didn't tell
for
us
the
you
next
finished.
4 months. I got to go back
Oi, that is
for my
class.
third year.
I was under the impression you were still doing work, like you were constantly. Wait, I didn't know you finished. That's
I,
really sick.
I finished on like Friday, I think. What day is it today?
That is
Saturday.
It is Saturday,
I
lad.
Finished yesterday?
Maybe like
Yeah.
Tuesday
Oh.
or Wednesday.
That is amazing.
Yeah, that's class.
And as well, Luke. Wait, on the subject of you, one of the top comments in our last podcast was, "Is Luke gay or bisexual?" And I was thinking, why are they asking this? So could you clear this up? Are you? What's the deal, lad?
Right, so I'm under the impression that the confusion came from the fact that I was talking about breaking up with them, and it might have sounded like that I said him. So
Wait, in what? What in your story that you were explaining?
no. No, when we were talking about breakups in the last episode, I said when you're breaking up with them or him. I don't even know what I said, but basically, no, I'm not.
Just come out, mate.
So I mean,
People
that's all I can
misheard
say.
you.
No, yeah, maybe I misspoke.
Wait,
or-
I want to
or
know. I
you
want to know,
misheard.
Luke. What happened to the girl that messaged you about her bathroom? Was there
Oh
a
my
follow-up
God.
question?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Yeah.
she heard. Did she listen to it?
So wait, in case you missed the last episode, basically Luke told this awful story that I completely did not enjoy about an incident he had whilst having sex with a girl in someone's bathroom, okay? And basically, the accident resulted in him needing to deposit fluids. Now, this is very vulgar, so apologies. But deposit fluids into the sink of this person's house. And this person who lives in this house messaged Luke being like,
I don't have my phone on me, but I'm pretty sure the message was on the lines of, "You washed your bloody broken cock in my bathroom sink."
Bloody broken.
All in caps as well.
What did you reply?
what did
to
you
that?
reply?
Yeah.
Did you reply?
Well, I asked who snitched on me first and foremost. Well, at first I was like, "Oh,
What do you mean who snitched?
I was like,
It's fucking you,
Told
mate.
thousands of
No,
people.
but like, who told her? I was like, I didn't know you were a fan, Charlie. And then she was like, don't flatter yourself, like someone snitched. So I was like, who snitched? So
Damo. Fucking Damo.
call me
No,
Damo.
no, obviously it's not
fucking
Damo.
Damo.
No,
Damo.
It's
Carmen,
either
not
Damo
speaking.
or Edwards.
It's Ollie. It's Ollie.
Comment right now. It's definitely Damo. Hashtag Andy Carroll.
But yeah,
it's so bad.
I apologised and I said I did clean it up nice, which is true. I left it in better condition than it was when I first washed it in there. So there's not much more I can do. It happened. I had to use it. I had to use the tools around me.
Yeah, no, it's true. Now, if I'm honest, boys and girls, I am eager to get another guest. Another guest on Wafflin, as I'm sure you boys are too. Am I right?
Yeah.
Now, I've been asking around a few people, and one of which that I think would be really, really good is actually Deji. And I messaged him. I didn't get a reply. I was basically like, I was thinking he's going through quite a tough moment. A lot of people against him. He's allegedly bought subscribers or whatever. Sorry. And basically, I thought coming on Wafflin would be a sick chance to talk about it all. It's a safe place. But he did not reply. And not only has he not replied to me, but he's not replied to Gib, who called him out to box.
Yeah.
And obviously Deji came out saying, "Oh yeah, I really want to fight again. I'm the best on YouTube." The second he's been called out by a credible YouTube boxer, he's bunned it off. He's not replying to Gib. He's not replying to the Wafflin boys. So, what do you lot reckon? Like, what do you reckon? What should we do? Because I really want to get him on.
He is uploading still. I've just checked. He's uploading every single day. So damn. I feel like he must be scared of the backlash,
Yeah.
perhaps.
Do you think almost that he's under the impression that like we're trying to get him on for a grilling, which obviously is not the case. That's not really what we're about, is it? Because Deji has always had such a hard time from the community. Like, I mean, from what I can remember, he's always getting himself into these little like problems where everyone's on his back.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel bad for him in a way. Like,
Yeah.
I think it would be a great place for him to come on and sort of get people on his side.
Well, yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, look, Wafflin the whole intended purpose of it is a place for us boys. At first, it was us boys to come and be ourselves, to be real, no act, no like, you know, allowing whoever's on to open up. And I think, you know, we saw with KSI, it was so powerful, it was so good. We, you know, even though we've had our rivalry, we're able to sit down, sort it out properly and talk, and that was sick. And I'd love for Wafflin to almost become something like that for YouTubers, where we can have a laugh, have a bit of bant, but also discuss some like real topics as well. And yeah, like I think Deji would be great for that. But
I think Deji, along with probably a lot of other YouTubers, and actually me included at the beginning, we all have this like wall up that we're scared to either open up or take criticism. So we have this wall up where we say no to a lot of opportunities because we don't know how it's going to pan out because we're not in control of it.
Isn't that an interesting thing about YouTubers though? Because we are so used to being able to film and then edit out the bits that we don't want to put out, and only we see it. So we're very much constantly in control of what is getting put out there. Whereas when you come on a podcast, someone else's podcast, it's long form. You don't edit bits out. Like if we say something, and we, you know. Yeah. And maybe it's the same as when I had that altercation with Jake Paul. The second I presented a question to him that was sort of challenging, i.e., why'd you upload your video before mine? Can you answer? He took it as I was trying to expose him or attack him or whatever. And that whole idea on YouTube is hell. The fact that everyone almost needs to protect themselves or feel like they need to protect themselves from being exposed constantly. Whereas, like, that's what this should be. Wafflin, the place where everyone realises that they can just be themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. Forget you're a YouTuber for an hour.
Yes, you know forget you're a YouTuber. You're a person, mate. Yeah. Now, guys, just interrupting this show, we have a special announcement. Isn't that right, Malfoy?
Oh, yes.
Exactly. Basically, for the first time ever in Wafflin history, we have finally secured a brand sponsorship for the show.
Come on, boys.
But I know, because for so long, because all we really talk about is, you know, incest, shagging your cousin, and very dodgy things, we get denied any brand deals or sponsorship. So finally, the guys at ExpressVPN have invested in Wafflin. They love the show, so please listen up, because it would be great if you could support as well. So, what does ExpressVPN do, Malfoy?
It's very simple. It literally hides your IP address and lets you control where you want the sites to think you're located. Okay, so for example, if you're watching Netflix in England and you think, oh, you know what? I want to see what's on the US Netflix. You can do that with ExpressVPN, and it changes your IP to make it look like you're in the US. Okay.
What about other video websites?
Say, it doesn't just work on Netflix. It works on iPlayer, YouTube, all other video websites, and you can access it all over the world. So if you want to go watch some anime in Japan, you can access Japanese Netflix.
Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to using that. And I'm not going to lie. On top of this, ExpressVPN, categorically, this isn't made up, is the fastest VPN that there is. So you won't get buffering, lag, and you can stream in HD with no problem. It's also compatible on a whole load of devices. So your phone, media consoles, smart TV, and more is what it says. So yeah, that is fantastic. And if you do want to support the show and get yourself 3 extra free months, go to expressvpn.com/wafflin, and there you'll get it. You'll help the show, you'll help yourself, and yeah, it's a win-win for all of us. So that is that. Thank you, ExpressVPN. Check them out, and let's continue with the show. Yeah, and on the subject of being a person, being a humanity, obviously at the moment, one of the most, well, hopefully revolutionary moments is happening. Obviously in America, the incident with George Floyd being killed by police has sparked one of the biggest uproars worldwide on racism ever. I believe there was one day where everyone like protested and marched at the same time, and I think it produced like the biggest, I don't know what the actual name of it is, but biggest like combined protest and march on racism ever.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Ever. Which is mental that this incident has sparked that, and it shows just how much people have had enough. And it is good that obviously people are speaking out and we're trying to do the right thing. But boys, like, what's your take on it all?
I'll let you start, Theo.
I really think that what is happening right now will genuinely make an actual change within A, humanity, and B, the police force, because there are so many racist and uneducated, untrained police officers, not only in America but probably all around the world, that shouldn't be able to like represent the badge. And I think they're getting shown now in all different kind of situations. And not only that, there people are filming them, and because of social media now, we're actually seeing it. Whereas, say, 30, 40 years ago, this was still happening. There's no doubt this was happening. Maybe even worse, it was happening. But you weren't seeing it because no social media. And that's why it is so important that you do actually take your phone out and start recording stuff. Because otherwise you're going to suffer in silence. And we need to expose these people.
That is the difference, like, nowadays. I mean, it's always gone on.
Yeah.
But the fact that the only difference now, like I said in that video that I put out, is that now we're able to record it. And by the way, just quickly, on that video about racism that I put out on my YouTube, I actually find this a bit mad about YouTube directly. And this is that, okay, one, if your video isn't over 10 minutes, it's not hitting the algorithm, so YouTube won't put it out, like, share it and expose it, or as in put it on their homepage and stuff, because it's not allowing them to put more adverts in and earn money from it, right? We know that. But the fact that I uploaded that video and automatically, because it was on the topic of racism, it got marked down as unsuitable. And therefore YouTube suppressed it and it didn't get out. And it is my lowest performing video, I think, for years, for actual years. Yet the interaction on it, yet the people that have seen it, like, actually took something from it and it had a good reaction. So that shows that directly YouTube have suppressed it and limited it because why? Like, are YouTube not wanting to spread the word of racism? Yet they're happily if you make a video based on what is viral and what is trending, doing some crap challenge, they'll put that on their trending page, but they won't put something that actually could potentially connect to people and make a difference.
We're seeing this sort of like suppression of information like across the mass media. It's like, have you seen like the front pages of the papers like over the last couple of days have been to do with the Madeleine McCann discovery, recent, like, it's not even recent, mate. I saw that story of like this German suspect was literally released last year in 2019. Yet like all of a sudden it's like become a big thing. It's on the front pages, and it's like, mate, like, okay, that it's a horrible situation but it was like ages ago, and there are like. Well,
so that's not even news. Like they're actually digging up like a story from a year ago.
Yeah, like they're pretending it's new news, aren't they?
There might have been like subsequent developments to that story, but mate, it's nothing compared to what is going on across the world at the moment. That they're just not. They're not putting out there. They're not letting people find out about it.
I'm sorry, but the people in charge of those newspapers are a disgrace. Like the fact that they're putting that on their front pages when there are so many bigger problems going on in the world. Wait, no offense, like, the McCann story is very sad.
Yeah.
All right. But why are we still talking about it now? There are so many other cases like that don't get mentioned. There are so many problems in the world going on right now that why are they not on the front page that day? This should be the number one topic constantly. It is such a big talking point and an important talking point that these newspapers changing their headlines to Madeleine McCann. What are you doing? It's an embarrassment.
I think for me as well, like I've been watching the news the past like week or so, just to see how they are portraying it, because we always see on Twitter, oh, the media won't show you this, and it's a video of like peaceful protests. The media won't show you something, the idea that basically what they show on the news is what they want to show you, not an actual good, valid representation of what's going on. So I wanted to sort of investigate this and see, and it is actually mental when you know what you're looking out for. It's mental how biased the news actually is.
Of course.
Because I was watching from knowing that I've seen on Twitter peaceful protests, people coming together, and all they showed was riots. All they showed was just riot after riot. Oh, this police officer got killed. This police officer got killed. And that is fucking awful. Don't get me wrong. The people that are rioting and using this situation in the wrong way to be a criminal, that is awful. But they only they really focused on how the protesters are just causing riots.
Yeah.
And they just the only speech they showed from the sort of situation was a police officer who was breaking down about how some of his colleagues had been killed, and it was awful, and it was touching, but they really conveyed only one sort of storyline.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like and you know exactly why they're doing it. Like, the reason they're doing it is because that way they can then push the narrative of like, well, police brutality against black people, this is why it happens. And it's like that, but that's like completely the wrong reason. Like, that's the whole point of this. Okay, people are rioting, but
that is literally like the bottom line. Like, rioting is awful, breaking things is awful, but it gets to a point where when it's this, this issue has actually gone on since the beginning of America.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing was built on white people coming and enslaving the natives
bring them over on boats as well.
And taking over the land from other people. So the foundations on which America is being built on is already fucked.
The irony of America is that it's not even a white country, so to speak. I mean, they went there and like took over the country from Native Americans.
Stole it. Yeah.
So I mean, like, the whole thing is so ironic, and just I can't even comprehend it sometimes.
Yeah, and seeing how, like, obviously, the two ends of the spectrum, where you've got obviously the people protesting racism, and then the other end that's like Trump, and then that's a whole other fucking story. But like, how you see that guy, he literally does not, mate. He doesn't even like really register that racism is a problem. He literally, as in, I actually blows my mind. How is he like?
Wait,
how is he the president?
He's the president
of
the United States. Like, he's arguably the most powerful man in the world right now. President of the United. He's on Twitter, tweeting shite. He's the president. And if you compare him to look at what Barack Obama is doing on Twitter and doing in his life, how the fuck is Trump president? How has he been voted in to be president? It doesn't make any sense. Like, it actually makes the thing, zero sense.
It must indicate, obviously, he has supporters. Like, he has, like, there are people that think like that. Like, fact.
Well, did you see
that's part of
Did you see the video of the child?
Yeah, and what I'm getting at is, like, so obviously you have the protests, and my concern is that the people that are racist, like, that's okay when you think of, like, what is the objective of the protests and us speaking about racism and why it's not going to make the world ever a happier place. What are we trying to achieve, right? Are we trying to get through to the racists? Because I feel like the racists, the ones that are just racists and believe that way, I question if will they ever will they ever change? Will they ever? Is there anything? If all these years of us, protesting and doing everything we can, like, and there's still racism, I'm like, what if there are certain people that is what they believe?
I do think, like, the worst part about this is something like racism is such, like, a deeply ingrained sort of belief that is sort of it's been generational, and ultimately it's never going to completely disappear until, you know, those generations have been wiped out. And just through time, where they age, they die. There's fewer racists in the next generation. They age, they die. There's even fewer in the next. And
yeah,
I think the only way that can happen is through education.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, the thing is I like to believe that any human being with an ounce of, like, well, being a good fucking human being, having a conscience, like, you will see the stuff that is going on, and you will think, I fuck, that enrages me. Oh, mate, I don't know, because that's the thing. I get a sense of hopelessness, and I hate that feeling, because I want to be like, I want to help. I just want to help. You know what I'm saying?
It's important to realise as well that no one is born a racist. They are taught and they are learnt to be racist.
Yeah.
So the only way we're going to battle this is by education and doing these protests. And I saw an interesting tweet saying someone was like slandering all the rioting, which I understand, but this tweet was very interesting. He said, all the peaceful protests, they've been going on for years and they haven't been heard. And that is why people are now resorting to rioting and looting.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're not getting heard. And it's anger.
Because doing a peaceful protest, okay, yeah, do that. I mean, it's good. Like, we should all stand together and showing, you know, when you see the sheer amount of numbers that are coming together, like, it's powerful. But at the same time, those top people like Trump doing a peaceful protest, okay, you do your protest, and then a week passes and it's okay, yeah, we don't, you know, it's over now. Whereas, yeah, like, people are, and rightly so enraged and feeling like what else is there that we can do to actually get through to these people to make some sort of systematic change. And it is, that is where the rioting begins. But that as well is awful. Like, I've just seen a video on Twitter of some guy pouring petrol and lighting it over a police officer who was literally just standing still. And I'm like, mate, you're fucking the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because the second the people like at the top, like Trump, have a reason to be like, look, these rioters are just criminals, then it fucks everyone else who's trying to do it for the right reason. If you're looting, if you're fucking starting to beat up cops or throw, you know, if you're doing wrong stuff as well, then it just becomes this battle of fighting fire with fire, and that just ends up in a...
And like,
well, that's the saddest thing. There's people...
Like we were saying, we know that the media love to play on that narrative, and the more it's happening, the more they are going to push it just to suppress these, like, this massive movement which they don't want to happen. They're like, the people in power don't want it to happen, which I don't understand why. I still find it mental that at this point we have to talk about, like, why someone with a different colour skin doesn't have the same privileges as us. Like, I find it so strange, and like, I know obviously it exists, but I just find it mental how it exists.
And one of the worst things is there's people out there who are not behind the movement, and they are the ones going out and doing the rioting and looting just because they want to. They've been waiting for this moment to start breaking things. And what I really enjoy is that when the protesters are seeing these people who clearly aren't part of the movement, they're just breaking things, they're stopping these people.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And standing up for what is right.
Yeah, and on the subject of, like, obviously people that aren't behind the movement, like, I think for me, right, so, you know, in my video I mentioned about influencers that have the platform, and if you really do, you do believe in this, and you are anti-racist, then surely you should want to use that platform to say something, to actually express it. Because, you know, it's all right sharing a nice Instagram post of an illustration of a black hand and a white hand holding hands and think that's doing anything, but that's just sharing something else that someone else has done that is established as, oh, this indicates that I'm helping the cause, but it's not actually. I want to hear people's actual feelings. I want to hear some expression, someone to, you know, to show that they actually care enough to come out and want to verbalise it.
Fair.
And I think like that's the, you know, that's the bit that
I think
gets to
definitely
me
bear
a
in mind
bit.
that any sort of like sharing or publicising of any sort of part of this movement is definitely beneficial to the whole thing overall. I agree with, if you're an influencer, you should be using this platform to speak because you're an influencer. Like, people underestimate how powerful like you guys are, like in terms of like what your fans think because you think things. But like, you see, there's a lot of people online that are like sort of shitting on people that are only posting things on Instagram. And also, like, I see so many comments on celebrities' photos on Instagram saying like, open your purse, donate and stuff like that. And it's like, well, we don't know what they've done. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, Joe, you could have donated £1,000, but like, no one knows whether you have or not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, there's this big thing around like, oh, we want you to participate, yeah, but not in that way. We want you to participate in the right way. And it's like, well, if I don't participate, I'm doing wrong, but I have to participate, but in the right way. And I think there's a lot of confusion around sort of like, how should I be an activist? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the correct method. Like what is? Yeah. No, I think you're right in that any sort of like spreading awareness. I think just for me, I like hearing it from the heart, hearing it from the soul. Like it's, you know, it's easy to share a post and that's all good. But yeah, I just like to hear from people a bit more if it really does mean that much to them.
Yeah. No, I do get you 100%.
Yeah.
I think also it's important there are other ways as well. There are other ways. For example, Reeve right now is currently cycling 527 kilometers to raise money because that's how long George Floyd couldn't breathe for. That's how long the knee was on his neck. So I think there is other ways. If you do struggle with expressing yourself vocally, there's definitely other ways you can help. And for example, next week I'm running a marathon, which I've never done before. Never done it. And that's nothing compared to who I'm doing it with. My friend Timsy is running 7 marathons in 7 days to help raise money for the NACP. They're a legal defence and educational fund.
Okay. That's mental. Wait, mate, surely you need to train for a marathon.
Well, yeah, you're meant to, yeah, but I haven't.
And you haven't, and you're gonna do it.
Well, I've only I saw he was doing it. I was like, I'll do one with you. I'll do the last one.
Yeah, sick.
So if he can do,
I mean,
7,
that is decent. Yeah, like fundraising, things like that. Like that is sick. But where does that money, like when we give to these charities?
So this is a very specific charity.
Yeah.
They work towards. I'm reading it here. They work towards real structure, legal change in the fight against system racism in the US. So 100% of the money donated will go directly to the NAACP, which is a legal defence and education fund, to help fight people's battles.
We'll definitely have in the description like loads of information, like good charities that you can donate to if you are able to, and petitions to sign, all that sort of business, I imagine.
Yeah, and so when we obviously donate to these charities, like what are we confident that where's this money going? Well, like if you give to a Black Lives Matter charity, for the average person, they may think, okay, well this is great, but how is this money actually going to get used?
Yeah.
So, do you boys know?
Well, in general, I don't know, and I think you can say that about a lot of the charities.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's why I personally go for the ones that are very specific, and you know they have a genuine that all of the money is going towards them, and this is a real thing. That it is a pot of money that people use to fight their legal battles and for education. And I think the most important thing is that for me doing this marathon, like I've never done one before, I haven't trained for it. I'm going to be in an immense amount of pain. But if you compare that pain to what millions of people have gone through over decades, it's nothing. So it's important that everyone, whether it be little, whether it be a lot, does their bit to try and help fight this, because it is so important for the human race.
Yeah, without a doubt. And that's the thing as well. Like, I mean, we've seen the officers that were involved with the George Floyd thing. They've now all been charged. That wouldn't have happened if we didn't protest and make a point of it. You know, you've got to hope that this is now going to drive the thing of police officers having to be a lot more aware of how they act, because if they do step out of line and do something inhumane, that there's going to be consequences and they're going to be held accountable. I think that's what desperately needs to happen.
Worrying? Like, the fact that the police are now obviously so hyper aware that they are being filmed for everything that they're doing, yet you're still seeing them like do these most outrageous things to like the protesters.
Did you see the elderly
that's
man?
the one I was thinking of, and it's just like, what the fuck?
Just an old man. How do you do that to a human and just leave him there?
Yeah.
How do you not like that? Is not even like that's not a policing. That's a human. Like, how do you physically push an elderly man and leave him to bleed out of his head?
Yeah, no, it is fucking vile, and this is the thing as well. Like, obviously, we see majoritively police brutality on black people. But I think as well what we've seen through this is the police, like in America, obviously mostly are the videos I've seen, but the police in general seem to have this godlike mentality where we're the police, we can literally do whatever the fuck we want. We've seen videos of them literally beating the shit out of people, thinking they're, in an alleyway, thinking that they're not being seen or filmed. And like with that elderly man, just pushed, like, I don't give a fuck. So, on one hand, you've got the sort of racist, not valuing someone's life because of their skin colour, but as well, the general mentality of the police in America, I know we do have problems here, but in America is what we've seen, is that whole entire thing needs to become more humane, but I feel like it's driven by, like, say, the mentality of the fucking president. All the while that you've got a president that literally supports that sort of behaviour, that the police almost being like we are the police, we do whatever the fuck we want because we're in charge. While that mentality is almost being promoted by the president, it's like, fuck me, how are we, when their boss is saying, that's the done thing, mate. Yeah. It's like, what the fuck? How are you meant to... Yeah, and that's why we need to keep enforcing and not let this die out and not just let it blow over and they do their thing.
Well, I think got till basically November. That's when his term's up, and obviously any Americans watching
he's going to be re-elected.
God, make sure you don't vote him in.
I honestly think he's going to get re-elected.
He fucking can't. He can't.
You reckon?
I honestly think... I don't know. I've just had that horrible feeling that he will. Because I feel like there's... Like the Deep South. Like, there's millions. Speaking of which, Speaking of Trump, have you watched any of the Epstein documentary?
Heard about it.
No.
Heard it's very fucking dodgy.
The fact that...
why?
Joe, oh my God. The fact that Trump is still in power after all of that is beyond me. Not only this whole racism stuff, but the whole Epstein stuff is insane. Mate, Trump is like... He's a pedo.
Mate,
he's a nonce.
Did you see? Because obviously, Anonymous
Prince
are
Andrew.
back. That's a big thing, and they released
huge.
a document of like a police report, which was of like Trump sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl, who apparently he was like smacking her around the head and like raping her. This is the president.
The names in this, the names in there as well, like Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew.
It just makes you think, man.
It makes you sick to the stomach. That's what it does. Like, it's horrific that there's humans out there in power.
There was a True Geordie podcast where he had someone on. I think it was David Icke or something. I don't know. And they were talking about this, how he was like, "This has all happened, etc." And obviously now hearing this from you, like, I I feel like all those, well, not all of them, but a lot of these top people, they've done some very fucked up things, and there must be a sort of like, someone's got to be keeping these secrets, and there's got to be some sort of blackmailing going on as to how he ends up still being in power, i.e., do you know what I mean? Like, there's got to be some corruption going on, because they've all got to sort of save each other's back, because they've all got fucking dirty shit on each other that they could expose.
So the power of money.
Epstein, well, didn't he allegedly kill himself after he said he was like going to reveal all or something, and then he hung himself?
Yeah, but probably most likely got killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the prison, they said that all the security cameras broke.
Yeah,
and the staff were on break.
Fuck's sake.
Nah, mate, it's because he was about to expose you all. That's what it was. I really recommend that document. It's really dark though. It was quite difficult watch, but it was interesting.
Fuck me.
Yeah.
So before we sort of move on, is there any other things or anything else that you think we should touch on in this particular segment?
In the notes that I wrote, I put a couple of cases for you to compare, just in case people don't really understand why this is such a big thing. I think they highlight the difference in America specifically, the way black people are treated and white people are treated by the police.
Okay, so let's quickly read a couple of these that you found. So the official statistics in America show that in 2017, 457 whites were murdered by police. In 2018, 399 were murdered. And in 2019, 370. And in 2020, 41. Black people killed by police in 2017 was 223. So there was more white people than black.
So this...
and then...
Yeah.
Wait. Let me just finish, mate. And then in 2018... 209 black people were killed. In 2019, 235 people were killed. And in 2020, 31 people have been killed. So more white people are killed by police. Okay.
Right, but that is... We received some, wanky email from some prick that was basically this is stupid, all this outrage. These are the statistics, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So what's the disparity between the numbers? It's 100 or something. That 13% of the US population is black.
Okay, yeah. So here it says black people were 24% of those killed, despite only being 13% of the population.
Which means the percentage is so much higher.
Yeah.
So much higher. And it's just uneducated people that send these emails in, just dumb.
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult because... How do you tell that a murder is 100% factually racially charged?
Well,
how do you 100% prove that?
I think you got to put two and two together sometimes. I mean, some of the cases that I've put there, of there's a young 12-year-old boy who was shot dead by the police. A 12-year-old. Shot dead by the police because he had a toy gun on him.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what I mentioned in my video. I was like, it's assumption based on skin color. It's and I think that's the thing where you can't black and white go, oh, this is definite. This is 100% factual information. But when you look at the stats and you look at these stories that you've written down here. Stephen Clark shot dead after officers mistook his mobile phone for a gun. Breonna Taylor shot 8 times by police in her own home because they broke in, didn't they? Thinking that she had drugs and she didn't even have drugs. They killed her. It's fucking outrageous. And that's the thing. It's the assumption. It's they're black. Yeah, they're probably guilty. Oh, they're probably... Boom. And I think that's what's evident. Whereas I feel... And that's the thing, I have not seen enough concrete evidence, but it's white people so they get given more chance, and thus it's like they're deemed more worthy. Whereas if we can get it through so that the mentality as a whole of the world is that we are all of equal worth, all of equal chances, opportunities, then like I say, the world will just run smoother. It will be a happier place.
Yeah.
But yeah. But anyways.
It's a horrible topic.
So, yeah, no, it is. And no doubt, like, I don't want this to sort of like be, okay, we've done one chat on it and that's it. I hope this conversation continues. I hope it keeps driving forward. And yeah, like, we will continue to openly and honestly say how we feel on the matter, and we encourage you guys to do as well, because this does need to be the biggest change that we make as a collective on this planet. But anyways, we are now going to transition on to some questions that have been sent in by you guys, the viewers. As always, we have our hotline, askjoetheo@gmail.com, that you guys can send in any questions as whatever you'd like. Serious, funny, dodgy, whatever, and we will anonymously, so we won't tell anyone who you are, we'll answer them to the best of our ability. So here we've got, this one is, how can I make my life more exciting? Right, that's the old tagline, and it goes, for the last year, I've lived a life that just isn't as interesting as I thought it would be. I've got a particular good group of friends, but we just don't end up making memories I hear other people making. This is partly because we don't put ourselves out there, especially with the opposite sex, and just find we wait for good opportunities to arrive instead of making them ourselves. Any advice on what you would do in this situation? Big up the Wafflin Mafia. Now, straight up, this is one of the biggest things that I have learned, and that is that when you wait around for the opportunity to come, for something to happen, today's a shit day, but, you know, tomorrow I'm hoping the universe is just going to swing in my favour. You will be waiting your whole life. And that's what I found myself doing. Waiting to feel motivated. Waiting to feel like there was something. But you have to go and get it. You literally have to go and get it. And sometimes you're going to have to go over hurdles and obstacles and setbacks. But once you realise that you are 100% responsible for what happens in your life, you'll start to make shit happen. That's what I think. What about you, boys?
I don't think you could have said it any perfectly, mate, if I'm being honest. Like, you're obviously, you are going to have setbacks, and you may be, say, for example, these people may be, I don't know, a bit nervous to do stuff, or they may be, what's the word, introverted. You may be a little bit introverted, but unless you take that first step, you're never going to find out, and you're going to live a life of regret. So you have to have that confidence to take the first step.
There's always that first step in anything. Talking to a girl or the opposite sex, doing that, performing in front of a crowd, making a YouTube video for the first time,
going for a run.
Going for your first run, going for your first gym session, whatever. It is the hardest thing, and you will fuck up, you will fail, but sitting in your comfort zone your whole life, it's a very nice, warm place, but nothing grows there. Yeah. Nothing progresses there. You will just sit there and achieve nothing. You need to seek discomfort, seek failure, because that's when you know you're leveling up, you're doing shit, and then you will look back on your life and go, fuck me, I've been smashing it. Like, even, do you know what I mean? And that's what you want. You want to look back and go, rah, I went out of my comfort zone there. I did something mental, and what a great story to tell.
And it'll
gas you up.
Some of the best memories from our lives, like together or with the boys, are like from things that we've planned together and just gone out and done, i.e. festivals, holidays, concerts, like just nights out, anything, just getting out there doing stuff.
Yeah, even without like needing to spend money, like when we've got together as a group, and just had a night together that's been at random. We start off in Seaford, and then we end up in Eastbourne, and we're in,
or Brighton at 7 a.m.
Yeah, and then it's just like, it's funny, but going out and taking the first steps to, realising that, wait, I know, I've got a good little analogy here. Okay, you can use this, it's a gym-related one, but you can use it in life. It's like, if you just think about the exercises you've got to do at the gym, you will just get bored and it will be repetitive and it will be dead. Whereas when you think about the end goal of what you're trying to achieve, i.e. beat your personal best or get this, get in good shape, that is what drives you. So when you have your end goal in mind, when you're trying to do the bits that need to get you there, that will drive you, i.e. I want to create good memories. I want to look back on my life and go, fuck me, I've smashed it. That will help you, well for me it has, help you to combat the hurdles that are maybe putting you off or maybe you're a bit like, can't be arsed. When you have that vision, that goal that you're going towards.
Yeah,
anyways, that's what I think
it's
anyway.
obvious.
Next up, we've got where to go with my life. Hi there. At the time of sending this email, my final year university results are out next month, which will determine if I can stay on another year and do a research taught masters.
Oh, a master's. Jesus.
Or, yeah, a master's. However, while these options are possible career paths, I do feel as if starting YouTube is a genuine career that I would love to pursue. In summary, should I go ahead with the masters if I get the right results, or start a YouTube channel and produce content that I would enjoy, despite the fact that it may not work out? It would be great to hear your opinions, especially from a great YouTuber like Joe Weller.
It doesn't say that.
It doesn't say that. No,
Wait,
no,
this is such a difficult one. Because as
you
much
were
as
in this situation, weren't you, Malfoy?
Yeah, because as much as you want to say, go and do it, you will love it, it may not happen. But
What, YouTube?
Yeah, but are you going to live with saying it could have happened, or are you going to try it?
So this, in my opinion, basically, just like Malfoy did when he was at uni, YouTube, or any dream, has to start out as a side hustle.
Yeah.
Just like when I started doing videos, I was at school and I did it as a side hustle. I didn't drop out of school immediately the second I had the idea of making videos. Nah, you need to do, for me, I'd say, pursue the uni thing and work on YouTube on the side. The only issue is what if he only has time to do one of them? Like, it's hardly like pursuing a master's degree is going to give you loads of free time to make YouTube videos.
That's
correct.
I mean? That's correct, because it is a master's, and for me it was a sports course, so I had a considerable amount of more free time. But what I will say is that
Playing Pro Evo all day.
it took me a year and a half before I dropped out of uni, and I'd say arguably that's the hardest I ever worked on YouTube whilst I was at uni. Because when you're in uni, you have a mindset you want to get out of uni, so you're going to drive and work as hard as possible.
Yeah.
So I feel like when I was at uni, when I was at uni, I was uploading 4 times a week on the main channel, and if I think about doing that now, I get like it all shuts down. Like, I don't think that's possible right now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not being funny. Like, the Masters is only a year long. It'll be a tough year, but surely he's just put 3 years of hard graft into university. If he doesn't have time to do YouTube on the side, mate, it's 1 more year to put you in a much better position if this pursuit of your YouTube dream does fail.
And actually, I know a YouTuber who has just finished his law degree, and he's a full-time lawyer. He's been doing law for like 2 years now, and
Who's
YouTube
that?
on the side. Do you know Arthur TV? Probably don't. Went skiing with him, that's why I know. And really nice guy, and he's been doing he's a lawyer, so obviously like gets home like 10 p.m. or something stupid, and does YouTube on the side, and he's just taken a year out to focus on YouTube, see where it takes him, and then he can always go back to his lawyer job. So concentrate on the masters and get that behind you.
Yeah, without a doubt, go and get the degree, because and anyone thinking of pursuing a dream, I'll say it again, it needs to start out. If you're passionate about it that much, you will, as a side hustle, like start from the ground up, and you're putting the work. If you realise, after a few months of trying it, that you've lost interest, it's not really like you're not making yourself make time, then it's not for you. Like, it needs to first and foremost be a passion, not a fascination that you're like, oh, I could achieve this and get instant results and be a big YouTuber. Nah. And I think any dream that's worthwhile. It needs to be passion driven and start from the ground up. So do your degree, do the right thing, get your education done. And I will say, I dropped out when I had 100,000 subscribers after doing first year college. I could have done the second year of college, but when I had 100,000 subscribers and I was fucking smashing it, I literally had been doing it for over, like, I think 2 years now, like properly. And I had concrete evidence that I was on a trajectory of someone's at the door. I'm going to have to go and answer that 1 sec.
That's right.
You boys chat.
Well, I was going to say, I dropped...
Go on, Theo, you're the host
I
now.
dropped out of uni when I had about 200,000 subscribers. And everyone was saying, don't drop out, Theo. You're going to be an idiot.
I think I was one of them. I think I was telling you just to like ride it out. You had a year and a half.
Oh,
left,
mate, it was horrendous.
but-
I hated every second of it. It wasn't the course I signed up for. Like, I was, like, at that time, I was making silly money, and I don't think my tutor knew that.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
no, I heard everything you said just then, by the way. And that is the other thing. Like, what if the course you're doing, you're actually
I hated
hating?
it. Yeah.
Like, I think you've got to
Yeah.
stick with it until you've got evidence that your dream, in this case YouTube, is realistic. And you had that, okay? You were turning over decent money. You were getting good views. You've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, this is the right thing to do now. And I think that's where I was at. I had 100k subs, turning over racks. I had people saying a lot, like everyone.
Yeah.
I don't think there was anyone except for like my parents.
But I think for you it's
They
different
said that
because
this
it was
is-
college, not uni.
Yeah. But as still, like, to finish, you know,
Yeah.
you've done 1 year of college. Do the second year, mate. At least have it in the bag, that, you know, A levels. But and I honestly believe if I didn't go for it at that point, I would have missed the boat by a year, because I was able to become like one of almost like the original YouTubers.
Yeah.
Because I capitalized on it when I did.
Did you have a point where you were like, I'm going to do this? Do you remember like a specific instinct where you're like, this is it, I'm committing to dropping out?
When I got my results from first year of college, and my Spanish, which by the way, I was doing private Spanish lessons,
Yeah.
and my tutor taught me the wrong syllabus for what the actual exam was. There was a mix up, so it fucked it, and I ended up like, I should have got like 100%, like A star, like fucking
you
smash
flew
it,
it, yeah.
right? Yeah. But because I like turned up on the day and it was just completely different to everything I've been training for, yeah, it just threw me off and I fucked it. So I only got a B in the end, and I was literally like, so that firstly I was like,
really?
oh, what the fuck? I was literally like, mate, this does not represent me at all. Grades do not represent what I'm trying to do in life. The next thing was, obviously, I was studying film. And I was like, okay, I've got a nice distinction star, but
Flex.
I was like, mate, all this stuff that I've learnt this year, I sort of kind of already knew, and they're kind of teaching us to all be the same, whereas I want to be fucking different, okay? So it was kind of then that I was thinking, yeah, now is the time. And I did, ever since I made that How to Be KSI video, and he shared the video, and I gained 10,000 subscribers. That was the moment that I was like, Mum, I'm going to become a YouTuber. Watch me. I am literally going to become a YouTuber that fucking runs the game. And I fucking did. And I always bring up that moment with my mum, because it was 3 a.m. KSI hit like on the video and shared it. I ran in my mum's room, woke her up, lost my shit. I was like, Mum, this is it. This is literally it. I'm going to do it. Anyways.
Wow.
I remember.
I had two epiphanies, or like, you know, your moments you had. One was,
Yeah.
it's so silly. The first one was, do you remember the Sidemen party for their book launch?
Yeah,
It was at the Shard.
that was sick.
Wait, Luke, you came, didn't you?
Yeah, that was me and you.
Wait, did I go
Nah.
to that?
Oh, you
Wait,
didn't
when
go?
was it?
It was like years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, we were probably all friends at that point. I must have been busy, probably, you know. I don't know. Go on.
Wait,
Wasn't
I
invited.
remember waking up the next. I remember waking up the next day. You were invited.
Oh, I just was invited. I remember I couldn't go for whatever reason. Anyways, carry on.
I remember waking up the next day in infamous Halo Tower, and I was like,
With
I
your
got
cock out. Doing loads of rhino kit. That's what they all do over the day, don't? It's alright, we're like
Anyway.
well into the podcast now. No one's watching.
And I woke up and I had a fucking lecture at like 2 o'clock in Bournemouth. And I woke up, I was laying in the
What?
bed, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is horrendous. And I had to get on a train to get to my lecture in Bournemouth at 2 o'clock. And I was like,
What, and were you hungover like from all
oh,
the...
it was, yeah. And I was like, why am I in uni? Like, I was, wait, what did you say? Did I miss out what you said?
Actually,
No,
I said nothing, but obviously you'd been doing copious amounts of like...
What? No! This is
alcohol.
alcohol, yeah. Well, I was with Luke. Luke drank.
Wait.
Anyways, I woke up, I was
what?
like, why the fuck am I at uni? Like, this is horrendous. Why am I trying to get there for 2 p.m? And the second one
Yeah.
was I was at Spencer's house. Have I told you about when Spencer gave me, like, the confidence
hand job?
to actually drop out of uni?
What, did he sit you down and go, Malfoy,
It
do
was
you know
me.
what?
Yeah.
Weller's giving you a career on a plate here. You really need to take advantage of
I
this.
say that. That's unfair on me. Come on.
Wait, what? Now, you did work hard. You did work hard. You're you're the only person that I've handed this lifeline in life to. And you've actually run with it. Everyone else has spunked it up the wall.
It took me 6 months to get 50k.
You're welcome. I'm joking.
When it took
Been deadly
Elliot
serious.
1 day to get 100k.
Did it?
Probably something stupid
Wait,
like that,
what?
yeah.
Elliot?
Yeah,
Elliot,
what he
do you realise? I feel like Elliot could have done. You know, like what Nico is like.
yeah,
i.e. his sort of sense of humour.
yeah.
Obviously, knowing Elliot personally, and this isn't just because they look similar. That's not what I'm doing at all here. The actual no, that's I don't want that to get taken out of context. But their actual like humour, I think if Elliot pursued YouTube, he could have gone down that sort of similar route. Those sort of videos.
Elliot blew up. I remember that.
Yeah.
I
Like, as
remember
in-
it very clearly.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, as in, it's all good getting the opportunity, but you got to run with it and you got to put in the work. And I think that is
He smelt the lifestyle.
what you
and
obviously
that was
did,
it,
Theo.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like you can get the lifestyle of being a YouTuber, but you got to work for
I
it.
remember watching
And then,
him blow up,
yeah.
and I was like, he's not working for this.
Oh,
and that
mate,
really
the
rubbed
thing
me up the
that
wrong way.
obviously blew him up was the exploring vids. Like that,
Yeah.
because they was just so banging, like, naturally, people are going to want more of that, so you're going to sub to him. So, yeah, anyways, right, next question. So it goes for... What if I never fulfill my self-expectations? All right, lads. Love the podcast. Wafflin and Joe Rogan are the only podcasts I ever seem to listen to.
I mean, that's a good
Joe?
comparison.
Joe Weller has a big cock. Nah, that wasn't even that funny. That's rubbish. What Joe said in the last one about never being in a relationship because he's so focused on being exceptional in his career really hit home with me because I feel literally the exact same. My issue is I'm 21 and not quite where I want to be. Whereas Joe can live with the fact that his life, in many aspects, has already been exceptional. How would you cope with the anxiety of never really living up to the expectations you've set yourself? Bearing in mind, making it to the top of an industry such as YouTube or music is incredibly hard. I almost feel like my life would be pointless if I don't achieve success in my music career. And this mindset is, as you can imagine, quite scary.
I think
Now, I've got a lot to say on this, but you boys quickly say your bit first, but I've got some fuel to add to this fire.
I
Go for
think
it.
that success is measured on a lot of different things. And I know this is like self-expectation, but the things you expect of yourself, like, you might not ever be able to achieve. But like, just because you don't hit the top of the music industry, what if you have like this, you know, okay, you're in an okay job where you're able to provide for your family, but you have a family, you have this amazing family, you know, you're able to provide for them still. Okay, you haven't gone down the career path that you wanted, but maybe if you went down that path, you wouldn't have been able to go down the family path that you wanted.
So this, right? Do you know what? I'm just going to go for it. Basically, mate, what you need to realise is that your goals and what you deem as success will change throughout your life. Right now, you're 21, and now you've got an outlook on, if I don't achieve this, life's fucked, it means nothing. Yet your values and your experiences will change and ultimately lead to what you think is successful. So a lot of people get to a point, like sort of Luke's alluding to, that there'll be a point where having a family that you can provide for gives you your ultimate like fulfilledness and sense of accomplishment in life. It may be, it may not. For me, at this moment in time, fuck no. That does not interest me. That will give me no fucking sense of achievement. I want to don my career and do the best that I can. Now, what I'm saying is that fear of never achieving what you ultimately want to, use that. A lot of people don't have that. And it's that fear that will drive you. Because that energy, if you didn't give a fuck, if you literally didn't give a shit and were like, oh, I'm not really that bothered, well, then you're definitely not going to achieve anything. Whereas having that thing of like, I have it, I think about it all the time. Like, am I really making the most use of my potential? I have so many talents. I'm so aware of how good I can be. Yet I'm spending, I've spent a lot of my time just depressed and not making the most of it because my own mind is holding me back. Well, say this, matey boy. Yeah, you just got to simplify it, essentially. That, fuck, sorry, I've gone off on a little tangent here. But you got to basically simplify it on, okay, what do you want to achieve? What is this goal? What is this, okay, music industry, right? Well, you may want to be at the top, right? That's the ultimate goal. But you got to think about what is going to get you to that top mark. You know, Drizzy Drake did not just wake up one day and he was at the top of the game. He had to do the dirty work. He had to fucking commit. He had to write millions of songs or whatever before he got there. John Cena, before being the top of the WWE, he had to fight in some crap town halls that were shit and rubbish. Before any of us YouTubers were anything, I was making videos for no one, spending 2 months making short films, getting livid because it would get no views. But it all adds to that building, getting to that top mark. So don't get overwhelmed by the end goal. Look at, okay, what is the first step that I can do to get me there? And it's all practice. View it as all practice, and you should steadily see improvement and progress towards the goal. But all the time that you're sitting there worrying, it's counterproductive. You got to sit and ask yourself, whenever you're having a thought, is this actually making the boat move faster? Is it making the boat go faster? Is it adding to your boat? No, if it's holding the boat down, if it's weighing the boat down and stopping it moving, fucking, it's not productive, mate. I've proper longed that one out, but
rather than spend an hour thinking about how I'm not going to make it, why don't you spend an hour like making a beat, for example, for this guy?
I'd almost look at this is why I listen to podcasts of successful people. Like I was listening to John Cena's one with Stone Cold Steve Austin on my run, and basically hearing how everyone else has got to success. Like they literally, a lot of people start from the bottom with that fear of I don't want to fucking do nothing with my life, and they use that energy to do what it takes. So yeah, mate, it's all about using that fear to help you figure out the steps on your path. I don't feel like I nailed that one as well, boys. I think the other questions I've done some good sentences on.
Quite well. I really think you should think about potentially doing like university talks.
Me?
I think you'd be quite good at it, yeah.
Be fucking class. Well, that's the thing. I actually had a chat with Believe in Bruce about doing this thing, because obviously he does his mental health like awareness like days where people an audience will come and attend, and like he'll do talks, and yeah, it could be interesting to get me on as like a guest, like come out and get like fill out an audience of like my audience or the Wafflin audience or whatever, and do like a whole mental health based thing where people can come and I'll literally boom, fire out some fire.
Because a lot of the American YouTubers do like get paid to go to universities and talk.
Maybe I'll do that. I mean,
I think
all I'll do is I'll go, look, boys, just drop out when you get 100k subs. No, but yeah, I mean, maybe that just could be a thing. I just could. Definitely, actually. But aside from the questions for right now, if you are watching, please comment saying, I know for a fact Joe has been to Cameo more times than Theo has shagged. Just because I really want to know who is watching to this point. Because if you're at this point, you are so loyal and I really do respect you. And I'm just going to go into a thing, Theo. Obviously, you've banged magic mushrooms before. Like you've actually caned them. When you went to, like, so their magic mushrooms are a drug. Is that right, Theo?
Psychedelic.
So you've banged loads of gear.
I wouldn't say.
So you've done these magic mushrooms. Basically, Theo was talking about it when he went to Amsterdam, and I've never done anything like that. So can you tell me, like, what are they all about, and do you recommend them?
Well, obviously in Amsterdam it's perfectly legal. Me and Janine did it together. A nice little couple.
Who is Janine?
My girlfriend.
Some viewers don't know that.
Oh well, they probably would by the amount of times you mention her.
So what did you do with Janine?
Well, obviously we've talked about the spa, but this was the magic mushrooms day.
Wait, was that the same trip?
Yeah, it was a bit of a mental whack.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we were quite young, so I was scared to go into a coffee shop. So
you had an underage.
No, we were over 18. We were like 18.
Oh, okay.
But obviously going into a coffee shop with your girlfriend, I don't know, I was quite scared. So we went to this other shop where you could buy like weed brownies and magic mushrooms. We're like, oh, we'll buy some of those. He was like, what strength would you like? I was like, what? So you have strength 5, which is obviously the strongest, and 1 is the weakest. We're like, okay, we'll get number 1. And we go back to well, we've never done them before. What I will say, okay, we went back to the hotel. They are fucking vile. They taste like shit. It's like eating soil and arse. It's vile. So you got to wash them down with water.
That's not a nice way to fucking describe Janine. No. Right, go on, carry on.
So yeah, you take them and then you just like, it's a bit of a psychedelic. I can't really remember it too much. Like, I definitely hit Janine more because I think she was smaller than me. She would start like hallucinating. Like I saw these blue lines.
What was it like compared to like doing loads of Mandy?
Obviously, I wouldn't know how.
Wait.
I wouldn't know about doing Mandy, but
do you not remember the story of Harley taking mushrooms in Amsterdam?
What did he do?
Like, because like obviously you know what Harley's like. I think he went for like the strongest of the strong.
Of course,
and
yeah.
I'm not sure whether it's him or his mate, but like they took so many that like he thought he lost his knob, and he was like crying because he thought he had no cock.
So he was just a whimpering idiot on the streets of Amsterdam, just like, oh, where's my cock? What?
Well, to be fair, we left our hotel room, we started wandering the streets, and there was a festival going on at the same time, so we're just sitting in the grass and just...
Sounds mental, mate.
You know...
Oh. So did you... So wait, did you like, shag on them? Because no. I've always wondered this, right? There are some people that have said to me, Joey, mate, when you have sex on different drugs, it has a different effect. I know someone that actively, with their girlfriend, they will do half an ecstasy pill before doing sex sometimes. And because obviously it makes you in a really like love-orientated way, they have like the best sex ever. And I'm like, fuck, imagine being pilled and doing that.
Imagine.
This...
No, but I obviously...
such a tasteful episode.
Okay, so when you've been in... have any of you guys ever, when being in a legal place like Amsterdam, tried weed?
I've never been to Dam.
Yes.
But, so, no.
But in Los Angeles, I did. And
we were all together.
Yeah, but as in on another time. And I literally would just get... Did it make you guys really, really horny?
Nah. I think that is a you thing.
Nah.
I swear like anything does.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, we sort of could tell. Hello.
I don't know. But anyways,
But no,
very interesting.
in terms of like magic mushrooms, like it's definitely an experience you'd want to have in Amsterdam,
Really?
and it can open up a lot of doors. I know Joe Rogan's a big believer of psychedelics, and you could connect with different parts of your brain and the universe. So it's definitely worth
Yeah,
a shot.
I always think about that, but then I'm like, is it going to physically like mess up your head? Like, is it going to actually like murk it, and you're just going to be like, nah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
just
that's why
like,
you start on the weakest ones. Don't do a Harley and go for grade 5.
really dodgy. What else has got on then?
I think we've covered it all.
Yeah, cool.
We have sort of covered it all in this episode. Next one we're gonna do. Yeah, next one I wanna do like a proper funny one again. So hopefully you guys will send in some bants questions that we can get through, and it'll be class. Make sure you are listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, because that is just like good for us in trying to get branded sponsored ad reads, which obviously funds Wafflin, because without that we make no money, because we always get demonetized because we cover, you know, dodgy topics. So that would be good, and we'd appreciate it. And of course, follow us on the Wafflin Instagram, because I will continue to be as dodgy and as free as ever, because I think that's what it's more. But, you know, being free, being myself. So there you go. We'll
also
do that. And
leave comments about any guests you'd like to have on for us.
Yeah, that'd be an interesting one, because we are looking for the next big Wafflin guest. So that'd be cool. But until next time, guys, we hope you enjoyed. And love, peace, enjoyment.
And techers.